Before 1992, sports gambling only existed in Las Vegas, but as America entered the 90s, New Jersey was looking to incorporate it into a slumping Atlantic City. A Senate committee was held in 1991, finding sports betting to be a national problem, and they wanted to prevent its spread. At the same time, several scandals were drawing concern about the integrity of professional sports. A year later, the commissioners of the MLB, NFL, and NBA spoke before Congress with concerns of match fixing. This resulted in the 1992 Professional and Amateur Sports Protection Act being signed into law. It outlawed sports betting across the country with one carve-out.
Throw to the plate will be late. Jordan a drive, hangs, fires, yards! He scored! Roethlisberger has time, throws to the back of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection.
Well, it was nice when it lasted. Post-legalization in 2018, sports betting changed in two major ways. Pre-legalization, all the major sports books only existed in Las Vegas casinos. This was a significant point of friction that made it harder to sports bet. The major books now run mobile apps that can be accessed from your phone, where bets can be made, paid out, and lost from the same couch in your living room, thus minimizing friction. The second factor is publicity. Legalization has allowed books to advertise, and they advertise a lot. Their favorite place to advertise is televised or streamed sports matches. This allows them to shape their own image and the cultural perception of sports betting. Through an ad blitz and major sponsorships, these companies are in the process of normalizing sports betting and integrating it with sports culture at large. These two major shifts have not changed the cancerous core of sports betting. Instead, they have strengthened what it already was. It is a game of chance that has been designed to give the house an edge that keeps it profitable, while handing the gambler just enough wins to forget his mountain of losses so that he continues to gamble.
Now you're in the ring with the king of sportsbooks. You know what to do.
BetMGM, FanDuel, and DraftKings have spent billions of dollars on advertising post-legalization, shelling out $670 million in 2024 alone. Traditional commercial break advertising during sports broadcasts was at its peak in 2021. These ads are the most intrusive and thus have been regulated by the professional league to maintain face, with the NFL only allowing for 4 sports betting ads per game on the major networks. While commercial break advertising has become less prominent than in previous years, it is still important. The structure and narrative of these ads tells us how companies are trying to position the concept of sports betting and to spread it further. These ads often focus on big wins and winners, which again is not representative of most gamblers who lose more than they win. The big wins in these ads almost always come from parlay bets. A parlay is a type of bet where you take many individual bets and combine them. Here's an example. You bet Dallas will cover the spread, i.e. win by more than a certain number of points, and that both teams will score more than a certain number of points combined. Parlays give longer odds and hypothetically greater payouts, but if either outcome doesn't happen, you lose the whole bet. Our example here with 2 legs or bets is tame compared to what the books promote, which always include at least 3 legs. Parlays have been aggressively marketed by sportsbooks. Due to this advertising aggression, parlays have rapidly grown as the most popular way to sports bet, making up 70% of NFL and NBA wagers on DraftKings. This method of betting is the most profitable for the sportsbooks because most parlays lose. Parlays also take advantage of the human psychology. If any leg of the parlay seems easy to win, we don't include it in the mental math when assessing the risk and reward of the whole bet. Because the easy legs feel guaranteed, they aren't factored into the much rarer probability of specific outcomes happening in combination, which is another psychological blind spot parlays feed on. The rare parlay wins are large enough that previous losses are forgotten, drawing gamblers to dig themselves deeper and deeper into a hole, chasing big wins. Bonus bets are the final consistent piece of structure within the advertising. They offer incentives for new users at the end of the commercials in combinations with a promo code. Offers like,
bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
Yeah, offers like that. These bonus bets include miles of fine print. relegated to the bottom of the screen in tiny text. When working as advertised, these bonus bets improve the risk-reward ratio briefly to hand the new gambler an easy win and incentivize them to continue betting. However, they almost never work in the simple way that they are presented. The fine print often reduces the value of the bonus bets, places a time constraint where they must be used quickly or lost, have a minimum wager limit required for use, or, in the most aggressive instances, the profits from one bonus bets must be wagered again to be cashed out of the app. Bonus bet restrictions have a deliberate intention of incentivizing specific gambling behavior among new users, putting money in quickly and placing a bet, betting greater amounts than originally intended, and letting wins ride by putting profits from wins into other bets. These behaviors are all associated with problem gambling, which is what they want out of their new users, even if they'll never say it. The ad structures we just discussed make this cancer more potent and profitable, but it's not what scares me. It's the narratives the books are selling. That real fans prove their ball knowledge by putting their money where their mouth is in betting. That betting makes watching sports more enjoyable and with practice profitable. The overarching theme being that betting is an inseparable part of sports consumption and a skillful expression of fandom. These narratives are the book's path to sports broadcasts, the bloodstream that will spread and metastasize tumors across the body and into the professional leagues, which are the vital organs. The idea of sports betting is low risk and that users have increased control over betting outcomes is the bedrock that other narratives rest upon. Fanatics Sportsbook advertises recoupment of losses with fan cash, low-value fun bucks that can be converted into bonus bets or used on their other products, as well as injury insurance called Fair Play. Injuries are the most unpredictable and tragic thing in sports, and almost always work in favor of the sportsbook. By excluding the most unpredictable aspect of sports and conceding that small bit of edge, Fanatics makes betting seem more predictable and, quote, fair. Losses are de-emphasized and reframed.
You're either winning or winning money back in fan cash.
This quote-unquote lower risk and increased user control dovetail into the larger idea of sports betting as a game of skill, not chance. That patience and practice can make betting profitable. The ads always use the word play or players instead of betting or gamblers. Play implies an even field, a fair game of skill, competition where effort, talent, and participation create success. Which it isn't, but you don't need me to tell you that for the 12th time. The books often use retired athletes in their ads. All-time greats and Hall of Famers place sports bets based on knowledge from their long and storied careers. Charles Barkley tells us,
when you're betting on your favorite players, it helps to think like your favorite player.
Fresh off his retirement, Blake Griffin says,
I'm thinking about playing again. Like, am I ready? All right, I'm ready.
By using elite athletes, the books frame sports betting as a sport in its own right, where the athlete's immense knowledge of their sport allows them to excel in sports betting. It's a sport for the fans watching at home on Sundays, who don't have the physical ability to play on the field, but know and love sports. Betting is defined as their way to prove their knowledge and skill. It wouldn't be fair if former athletes could bet because of their immense knowledge of sports. Feels like I'm reaching a little bit there. Oh hey Tom, what are you doing here?
BetMGM is for everyone that loves sports betting. Everyone. But Tom Brady.
Wait, what did I do?
The truth is you've won too much, Tommy. Let others have their turn.
What if I bet in-game parlays and I'm not Tom Brady?
You're in. Now dog me.
What if I cried when Tom left?
What if I'm the Tom Brady of spreadsheets?
BetMGM is for you.
Yes.
Download BetMGM. Except you, Tom. You've won enough.
This framing converts sports consumption from the passive, sitting back and enjoying the game, into the active, gathering knowledge
All those nights of studying film really paid off.
You mean watching baseball?
to win in the sport of betting. This constructed sport of betting's legitimacy and prestige are again validated by professional athletes in the ads. The nerdy fan impresses Ray Lewis by winning his parlay.
$150 in bonus bets!
In that moment, the winning gambler is on the same level as the greatest middle linebacker to ever play because the randomness of sport fell his way. The books sell the bettors this fantasy and prestige that they want while slowly siphoning their cash away. The final advertising narrative is that the active sport of betting makes watching sports more exciting. Betting does increase the adrenaline and emotional volatility of tuning into a game, but it also reshapes how a bettor observes sports. With bets on individual players' stats and parlays, the viewer's focus narrows from the entirety of the game down to the players they have bet on and those players' stats. The team's overall success and the nuances of the whole game are lost in this narrowed focus. Every play with money on the line becomes a small match in of itself. where the focus of the gambler is on the outcome that determines their bet, not team success. Aaron Judge can do what he's getting paid to do, hit a sacrifice fly to score a run for his team and help them win the game. But the gambler bet on Aaron Judge to have multiple hits, and that sac fly really hurts the chance of multiple hits happening. That sac fly is good for Aaron Judge. It's good for the Yankees, but the bettor, who is a Yankees fan, is still pissed. This version of fandom creates a disconnect between gamblers and the athletes who are just doing their job and trying to win. This has led to mountains of harassment for athletes over missed parlays. This is what the books are selling as fandom, that real fans prove their loyalty to their team by betting on them. That doesn't feel like watching sports as a fan. It feels like watching stats out of self-interest. ESPN is the most blatant in selling this narrative, calling themselves
ESPN Bet, the sports book for sports fans.
Not every fan wants to bet on sports. I don't want to bet. Am I not a fan? I don't want to see betting lines when I check ESPN to see what channel the Seahawks game is on, or for sports news in general. Is the money worth selling their credibility as the nation's leader in sports journalism?
Whatever kind of fan you are, ESPN Bet's got you covered, with everything you need to bet smarter and score more from the game.
By saying that a key part of fandom is betting, the sportsbooks are attempting to turn fans of teams into watchers of stats. It's a grotesque transformation of something I love. ESPN is riddled with the tumors of sports betting. Their strategy was an integration of gambling into their product of sports journalism. Once healthy tissue is rotted, and as a result, they are structurally reliant on the sports betting money. ESPN is emblematic of a greater issue. They aren't alone. Sports betting is quickly and aggressively metastasized. The 4 major leagues have integrated betting into their business, not realizing the damage done to their integrity. Each league has multiple official online gambling partners. In 2020, the MLB took it a step further, striking a 10-year deal with Fanatics Sportsbook to license and design the official MLB uniforms. Fanatics Fan Cash, the fun bucks they give bettors who lose, can be used to purchase official MLB jerseys. The quality of those jerseys has taken a nosedive.
Players have said a lot about those frustrating new uniforms across baseball. The material, well, it holds and shows sweat, plus picture day, the pants were see-through.
The Fanatics jersey debacle is more than just shitty quality control. It's a bending of the knee, giving Sportsbook a deeper connection to sports for cash. The bending of the knee for cash goes from the cheap jerseys to the cameras and networks filming them. Amazon's purchase of Thursday Night Football and primary DraftKings sponsorship in 2022 were the first of many tumors to enter the broadcasting system. Thursday Night Football integrated DraftKings into the branding with a combination logo. Amazon still has most of the broadcast, but DraftKings has important parts in the pregame show. In that show, the hosts are beloved players Richard Sherman, Tony Gonzalez, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, giving information and insight into the upcoming game. Information like what players are out with injury and who's been doing well this season. During a September pregame show, the odds were shown 6 times. This integration is small potatoes compared to the weekly recurring segment. Every week, one announcer pitches a 3-leg same-game parlay of the upcoming match that is promoted and easily accessed in the DraftKings app. Inside the NBA, the most beloved show in all of NBA history, has Charles Barkley slinging parlays for FanDuel in the pregame as well. Betting sponsorship has also integrated into the major cable networks. Fox Sports had the exclusive rights to the MLB playoffs this year, and they brought betting even closer to the game. Announcers are the heart and soul of the sports broadcast, and on Fox, 2 minutes before the opening pitch, the main commentators would promote a 3-leg same-game parlay as well, with a graphic on screen. This happened every single playoff game. Not to be outdone, Amazon purchased broadcasting rights for some NBA games and partnered with FanDuel in an even more aggressive way. This partnership allows Amazon viewers to link their FanDuel account to their Prime Video account. These linked accounts put live odds and active bet tracking on screen during the game, not during commercial breaks, when the shot clock is running. This feels like a turning point. The idea of sports fans as individually concerned bettors has taken such a hold that a major streaming platform, which has rapidly been scooping up broadcasting rights, has deeply integrated betting into their sports broadcasts. Betting integration has filtered down from the leagues and the broadcasts to the individual teams. The Detroit Tigers are one of 9 MLB teams to broadcast their games on FanDuel Sports Network. Even with that team broadcast integration, the most frequent form of gambling advertising is in-play advertising, ads on the fields or jerseys. The NHL is the most egregious in its use of in-play advertising. During the 2023 Stanley Cup Finals, a gambling logo was seen an average of 3.5 times a minute across the whole series. Sports betting branding and logos litter baseball fields and NBA courts. These ads are placed on the field in locations where they get the most screen time and where the explosive plays happen. In the NBA, they're on benches and towels. In the Mariners' playoff run this year, FanDuel and BetMGM logos were behind home plate where the camera spends the majority of its time. More logos were on the outfield walls for the entirety of the game, where they are in frame when a home run's hit. 28 out of the 30 professional baseball teams are individually sponsored by a major sportsbook or a local casino, and several have opened in-person sportsbooks in their stadium. Wrigley Field has stood for 111 years. It is recognized by the National Park Service as a historic landmark. Its newest addition was an in-person sportsbook. The Saints gave the naming rights to their stadium to Caesars Sportsbook. All of the major leagues have added or moved a team to Vegas, except for the NBA, who is planning to in their next expansion. In 1992, when the ban on sports betting was placed, it was the leagues advocating for the protection of sports integrity. Today, nearly every single part of professional sports, the networks, the teams, the leagues, have all collectively agreed that it is okay to sell betting as an essential part of sports. The gambling industry has enough money to make the moral implications for fans and problem gamblers irrelevant to the leagues, teams, and broadcasters. When the leagues incorporated sports betting into their blood, they understood the risk. Integrity is the structural base of sports. Fairness and genuine competition are what give sports their meaning. Integrity is the skeleton supporting the body. When it's compromised, the bones struggle to hold any weight.
Calvin Ridley will not be allowed to play at all next season. The league reports he gambled on games.
A lifetime ban to the Toronto Raptors' Jonte Porter for violating the league's gambling rules.
Major League Baseball has officially banned a San Diego Padres infielder Tucupita Marcano for life. This lifetime ban comes for gambling.
Miami Heat point guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups have been arrested in connection to an FBI sports gambling investigation.
As part of the FBI's recent crackdown on illegal gambling, former NBA player and assistant coach Damon Jones will face a judge in an arraignment hearing today.
And now this from Major League Baseball. Guardians pitchers Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz have been charged with fraud, conspiracy, and rigging pitches. Prosecutors said in the indictment that Clase and Ortiz threw specific pitches for balls so bettors could place prop bets and profit.
The integrity of sports has been gradually fracturing, and the leagues were too greedy to care until their femur snapped. The fear of this exact scenario is what made the leagues push the initial 1992 ban. The leagues are relying on sports betting money. The tumors that sap sports of their integrity and siphon the bones of their strength have become weight-bearing pillars. Problem gambling is behavior that's damaging to an individual or their family, interrupting daily life and often financially crippling them. It's not an individual moral failing. Problem gambling is an addiction that alters brain chemistry. It's not the wins that problem gamblers chase, it's the excitement and uncertainty. The ball rolling around the roulette table, the wait before the blackjack dealer reveals their card, and the sweat of a player on the bubble of an over-under. The National Council on Problem Gambling has found that sports betting is even more addictive than traditional gambling, with rates of problem gambling among sports bettors being at least double that of the general betting population. In Maryland, a study found that 1 year after legalization, across the state's population, gambling spending rose 369%, while irresponsible gambling rates rose 372%, and calls to gambling helplines grew 75%. 3 years after New Jersey legalized sports betting, calls to its gambling helpline tripled. Sports bettors themselves are aware of the problem. A Siena College study found that more than half of sports bettors felt they are spending more money betting on the apps than they should. Problem gambling rates have risen with the legalization of online sports betting. With this rise, the sports betting industry has produced larger profits. Last year, they made $13 billion. Here we've got a chart breaking down the data from a large Connecticut study of sports bettors by problem gambling risk. Problem gamblers and at-risk gamblers, i.e. those who are in danger of developing a gambling addiction, make up a little less than 10% of the sports betting population. With such a large percent of profits coming from problem gamblers, the sportsbooks are relying on them to be profitable. Young men are having their grocery money taken by an addictive product which lines the pockets of the sportsbooks, just so some scummy DraftKings executive can buy a yacht. This industry is subsidized by addiction that results in broken lives and long-term debt, and the books act like it. The structure of online sports betting apps and the number of things there are to bet on is designed to target and trap problem gamblers. On one app, during one mid-season baseball game between the Royals and the White Sox, users had 66 different betting options based on a single player's performance. Across that same game, 2,179 wagers could be placed, compared to 2,430 games total across an MLB season. Much of this action comes from live betting.
Bet live with FanDuel.
Betting on an outcome of a shorter period. Instead of betting on the final score of a match, you bet on how a specific drive will end during a football game or the outcome of a single at-bat during a baseball game. This live betting makes it much easier for players to illegally throw and compromise games' integrity. Instead of throwing the whole game, they just take a dive during one at-bat. Live betting also provides a lot more action that's more unpredictable, with more opportunities for problem gamblers to chase inevitable losses in the hopes of winning it all back. The increased frequency of bets and shorter period between placing the bet and either winning or losing worsens gambling addiction and puts problem gamblers even deeper into debt. Putting something this addictive onto people's phone is adding gasoline to a raging wildfire. There is no friction to prevent the cycle of betting, losing, and chasing the loss with another bet. The books use the apps to collect personal data on users to draw them into the app and keep them there, weaponizing that data to offer specific personalized promotions, odds boost, and bonus bets to incentivize them to keep gambling. Even when users aren't on the app, the books send push notifications to try and get gamblers back on the horse and betting. According to brain scan research, an important component of problem gambling is the reward stimuli. Notably, from this research is the fact that close losses stimulate the same part of the problem gambler's brains as wins. This brings us back to the advertising, parlays specifically. Parlays are designed to produce near misses and losses by a single leg to give that feeling of almost having it. Parlays being marketed as the primary way to sports bet becomes exponentially more sinister when viewed through this lens. Parlays are already addictive for non-problem gamblers and are engineered to worsen pre-existing gambling addictions. The advertising itself, without mentions of parlays, has already been found to have a larger impact and be more harmful to problem gamblers. A survey of regular bettors found that exposure to sports betting marketing led to unplanned gambling spending for 31% of participants. In that same survey, the rate among problem gamblers rose to 87%. Research has also found that exposure to all types of sports betting marketing worsens gambling addiction, or at best, makes it harder for problem gamblers trying to quit or limit their betting. Even seeing the logos of gambling companies has been found to give problem gamblers cravings. Commercial break advertising offering bonus bets and emphasizing how easy it is to place a bet have been shown to have the largest behavioral impact on problem gamblers, again, either worsening harmful behavior or making it harder to cut back on gambling. I've watched a lot of sports betting ads in the process of completing this project. Bonus bets and ease of use are featured in nearly every single ad. In the sportsbook's integrations with leagues, broadcasts, and teams, they target problem gamblers, making it nearly impossible to watch an entire game in any of the 4 major American sports leagues without being sold sports betting. In their narratives, they target problem gamblers and potential problem gamblers during their commercial breaks. The sportsbooks do all of this and deny responsibility.
24 hours a day, few swipes. How do you reconcile that with the fact that this entertainment has the potential to addict users?
Yeah. The addiction element of are people addicted to their phones, which is kind of a common phrase.
The sportsbooks get away with this without regulation because they tell the viewers to bet responsibly at the end of the commercials that promote betting in ways that are anything but responsible, that are risky and addictive, with miles of tiny white text. Since it's so effective, I'll do the same thing. Sports betting advertising should be regulated in the same way that cigarette advertising was. The sports companies borrowed most of the cigarette advertising playbook anyway. Just as the tobacco companies are no longer allowed to make health claims, the sportsbook should not be allowed within any proximity of professional sports or athletes in their advertising. The popularity of sports turns into a risk factor when it's used to market sports betting. A doctor claiming a cigarette is healthy and an athlete claiming sports betting is a fun game of skill feel a lot more similar than they do different. Both products kill people, and we need regulation.
to make every game interesting? Step 1, open the BetMGM Sportsbook. Step 2, put some skin in the game.
Any strikeout can pay out. Make baseball come alive when you bet live this season with FanDuel.
The game just started and the squad's already going crazy. Because on Prize Picks, your player only needs to get 1 yard to win. 1 yard to start popping bottles.
Bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win.
FanDuel's dropping profit boosts every college football Saturday to turn wins into bigger wins.
Yo, you think Dallas' Power 4 gonna drop 30 tomorrow?
More, big less. It's that easy. Cash in on your sports fandom with Prize Picks.
FanDuel and make the game come alive. Any homer can feel like a
And same-game parlays on FanDuel are the best way to bet on your favorite players.
MGM app and put together a live parlay. Soon the whole bar was pulling from that parlay.
America's #1 sports
Pick,
book.
predict, play.
This MLB
Prize
season, FanDuel's Dinger Tuesday makes the big bets come to life like never before.
Prize Picks. Run your game.
Don't just watch Super Bowl 55.
BetMGM
Play
Sportsbook.
DraftKings free fourth quarter
Official partner of the NBA.